Those have not changed. These still continue to exist. And today's technology actually enhances some of those. In fact, in some ways, I see Sigma as a company that has been extremely innovative also because they looked at some of these requirements, old world requirements, if I may add, which affect new technologies. Like for instance, I was thinking about the, for those of you who don't know about this particular fact about Sigma, there's a lens which I was very excited by, a 17 and 1835 lens with an f1.8 for APS-C sensors. There was another lens which was 50 to 100 mm, again f1.8 for APS-C sensors. Now, why is this exciting is because it negates a full frame, the quality of a full frame camera. An f1.8 on an APS-C sensor is equivalent to an f2.8 on a full frame camera, and it will deliver the same depth of field as a full frame camera. It will deliver the same level of noise of a full frame camera. Now, things like this come from an understanding of what is required for a photographer. What are some of the newer lenses of Sigma like? If you can throw some light on some of the newer equipment of Sigma.
Sometime around February, when the L-mount alliance was declared, it was big news, and
that was huge. Yes.
That was big news. It is, and I think Sigma promised 11 lenses of L-mount native lenses, and they delivered the 11 lenses. Besides that, Sigma has even given converters where you could convert EF mounts to SA mounts to the L-mount bodies. This created immediately an L-mount opportunity for any body maker. Panasonic, Leica, Sigma themselves are converting to L-mount. So this is creating a new, like I said, something unexpected with huge growth potential. Sigma have delivered close to 37 lenses today. So there is no reason, like you said, sometime back, it takes 10 years for a product, a science to reach its end. Then it came to 5 years, then 2. Today, hardly in 10 months, the whole lens game is over. You have no shortage of lens to explore, to experiment. And the equipment is also out. So probably sky is the limit to what else in technology is going to come. And incidentally, we've just launched the 2470 L-mount native lens just last week. And the two lenses you spoke about, the 1835, 5100, and DCDN lenses, 16 mm, 30 mm, 56 mm, all will be probably scheduled for 2020. So
lots to look out for from Sigma.
Yes.
We will come back to the L mount because I have a couple of questions about that. Mr. Goel, this is specifically regarding the hard drives. Specifically regarding hard drives. With the Panasonic S series, S1 series now launched, and we know the kind of bit rates that are being pushed. It's tremendous. I mean, I can't, even 5 years back, we would not even have imagined the kind of data that is coming out of cameras. So with resolutions increasing, okay, from an initial full HD to then 2K, then 4K, and 6K with Panasonic, and a very at 8K in the near future. Data storage, especially archival data storage, is a big question in the minds of many video filmmakers today. So what are some of the technologies that Lassie is working on?
So we, because we are too much into bit rates, we give archiving solutions on a multi-bay boxes, right? We have a 6-bay box, we have a 12-bay box. On a 12-bay box, you can easily do 8K edit. You can even do 36 frames per second on a 12-bay box. And now, with the bit rates increasing, the amount of storage needed also, it's directly proportional, right? So the 12-bay box can go up to 168 terabytes. So that's the amount of, that's the, largest storage available currently in the market in a 12-bay nomenclature. So that's one of the advancements. Secondly, now a lot of shoots happen on locations, right? And you cannot carry these boxes on locations. And for that, we have the SSDs for faster transfer, more bit rates, faster transfer, what I have myself transferred 10 GB of data on Thunderbolt 3 and it got transferred in a minute or minute and a half, that's it. Blink your eyes and it is done. And if you do the same thing on USB 2.0, you can take a nap. You can take a power nap and it'll still be going on. So that's the kind of technological advancements we have. Another technological advancement that we did, as you asked in your previous question, that do we hear feedbacks from our customers? We heard. And if you see the gray one over there, which is sitting right there, if you have that kind of drive, you don't need a laptop or a computer on location. You can just shoot on a drone, take out the SD card, put it in. There's a button, multi-purpose button like you used to have on your iPhones, and it will copy the data. And it will create a backup of that with a time and day stamp of the folder. And you can just manage it on your phone. We have an app on the phone and you can manage it over there. So you don't require a laptop or anything on location. So these are, we also have now, in weddings, even in cinema, you require portable drives. And again, with 6K and 8K, the amount of content that is being shot per day is huge. So we have an 8 terabyte portable drive, which is nowhere, right? And it can do, even if anyone understands what RAID is.
Currently available?
Yeah, that's available. That's sitting outside. And it can do raids. It can do RAID 0, RAID 1 for security. And again.
So you're saying the portable drive can do RAID 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
So in that enclosure, there are two 4 TB drives inside. And with the press of a button, you can do either RAID 0 or RAID 1, whatever you want. And 80% of the products we ship out, we give free recovery option. You can use it only once because you go to the ICU only once, I hope, right? So, and you can use the recovery once, and we'll recover your data free of cost. And we have a 98% hit rate as far as recovering the data is concerned. It's our proprietary hardware on which we recover it. So we give that service also free of cost because content is life. Again, I do a lot of presentations, I meet a lot of students, I meet a lot of users, and I always ask the users to your question of archiving, I always ask them to archive data. Why? Because today, a photographer or a videographer will give the content on a drive to an end customer, right? If he archives it, that drive can conk off anytime. After 2 years, if the same guy comes to him, he says, "Wo wali meri shadi ki footage hai kya aapke paas?" Right? He says, "Yes, I have, but I'll charge for it because I've archived it for you." Right? So that's again a chance of earning money. At the end, we all want to, earn money, and that's the basic thing. You want to earn money, and that's how we are helping the community out there.
Thank you. Mrs. Saraf? I have noticed that, especially over the last couple of years, in fact, Digitech products, they follow a unique combination of being very cost-effective, not possibly the latest of technologies, but very practical, utilitarian technologies, very logical solutions, especially for photographers and videographers. So can you tell us something about the very latest from Digitech?
As we all know, India is a very price-savvy market. Almost 80% of our videographers cannot either afford or do not wish to spend on high-end, highly priced equipments. So this is where we, at Digitech, try to develop products which are cost-effective, yet matching with the tested technology and practical solutions. Like recently, we launched a battery which can power up your cameras, like this. Just 1 minute. So this is the battery that we recently launched. So this is used to power up the Sony cameras or the LED lights. So normally the batteries use the traditional way of charging, but we brought a new concept with the micro interface charging, making it feasible for all our photographers to charge it anywhere, anytime. They can charge it on their car with the regular car charger. They can charge it anywhere with their regular mobile adapters. They have a power bank with themselves. They can charge it with the power bank. With this battery, they can charge their other DSLR batteries as well. So making it more effective and more easier to use the product. Likewise, we have launched, we have continuously focusing on lighting solutions, which gives freedom to our photographers to choose the right lighting source, right lighting conditions at different environments. So we recently launched this ring light, which can be worked with batteries again. You don't need to keep on looking for the electronic sockets everywhere. Like if you talk about the past, the lighting conditions were always fulfilled by like traditional sun guns or traditional lighting structures, which we used to which required always the electronic plug points,
right.
which is a big hassle if you are actually shooting at some remote places. So making it more feasible for our videographers and photographers, we chose all our lighting situation which can work on both the AC, the regular electronic output, as well as with the batteries, making it convenient and easier for them to use. We also launched recently the mobile gimbals.
Just a question regarding this ring light. I saw a number of different sizes.
Yes.
Is it the same ring light but in different sizes?
Yes. It's actually with the growing online videography market, the video contents, there are different kind of customers coming in this market. So with this different kind of videographers shooting coming in, so we have different sizes to fulfill all of their needs. We have for entry-level contents for like people who normally shoot at home, a small video for themselves. We have 6 inches. So we have 6 inches, 10 inches, 12 inches, and 18 inches, different.
This is 18 inches.
Yeah, this is at 18 inches. And all our lights are bicolor lights. So the bicolor lights are basically 3200 Kelvin to 5600 Kelvin light options they have. So they have different lighting combination options to choose at different environment to get the right color texture that they need.
I was just reading because we did Better Photography recently did an advertorial on these lights. And there was a very interesting mention of how makeup artists are using these lights because of this color temperature.
Yes.
So they can actually do makeup very well. So there was a unique application, which I never thought that a videography-based ring light would be put to. Yes, you were mentioning about some other product.
Yeah, we also launched recently the mobile gimbals. Like now we can see mobiles coming up with high resolution cameras and very good quality cameras. And not all the professionals, like the entry-level amateur videographers who are willing to get into the video shootings and trying to get some good contents for themselves, they have for them an affordable equipment with which they can have a noise-free video. So we launched the mobile gimbals that can be an easy source for them to create a good video at a very reasonable price.
These are tiny handheld.
Yes, handheld gimbals
for mobile phones.
Yes.
Thank you. Again, continuing with the one last, there's a product that you're actually giving away as a prize to the winners. Can you tell us something about that?
Yeah, as I said earlier, like lighting is one of the most important source when we talk about photography. So normally what happens is people moreover prefer to shoot over the natural lighting system, natural lights. But natural lights are not always available or available to an extent that is required. So here comes in the role play of the external lighting. So we thought of giving our videographers an external lighting, an LED light, 520 LED bulbs, LED light, a small, compact, lightweight, operational with batteries. These are again the bicolor lights, so they can have the multiple color options from 3200 Kelvin to 5600 Kelvin. They can be easily mounted on the tripod or on the stand. So giving them a flexibility to have the right source of light anytime, anywhere they want.
Wonderful. Thank you for
Thank you.
offering this as a prize to some of our winners. Mr. Station, coming back to the L Mount Alliance, that's something which we were talking about a little earlier. And I was reading an interview with Mr. Kazuto Yamaki, where he mentioned that to begin with, the whole idea of the L mount also began with Sigma looking for a partner to move on with a change of mount. Could you let us know about something about that?
Well, to my understanding, Sigma themselves were probably, were looking back at their own mounts for the cameras they had. They had a very specialized Favion sensor-centric mount cameras, which had a very niche following. In the course of things where Sigma was going, and after they, that was probably after they launched their cine lenses 5 years ago. Just after that, they were already in the drawing block looking at a shift from their Sigma SA mounts to something else. And I understand that Panasonic and Leica probably also shared certain thoughts in those, for whatever reasons each brand had.
And Leica as well. So Leica, Sigma, and Panasonic formed the L Mount Alliance.
That's right. They formed the L Mount alliances, and that was the groundbreaking thing. And I guess all three brands were moving away, or rather moving towards L Mount from their own mounts, which they all had.
Essentially full frame.
Essentially full frame, that's right.
Sensor camera.
Essentially full frame, and I think they were all going probably towards the evolution of photography, video, towards cinematography.
Right. I was also reading that the flange distance is 20 mm and 51, it has a huge diameter of 51 millimeter, which is amongst the largest diameters in the world for a mount. So, Mr. Suri, what would you say about the L Mount Alliance and about the L Mount itself, which Panasonic is now using for the LUMIX S1 series of cameras? So the latest full-frame Panasonic cameras are there to the L Mount. So do the Sigma cameras and so do Leica cameras.
So I think this alliance is going to be really beneficial for not only the companies that are in the alliance, but as well as the photographers and cinematographers who can use the L mounts, interchange it between their cameras and lenses that they have. As you mentioned, the flange distance that has been shortened, and now one can use their old lenses along with these cameras with using your adapters, and that becomes again another a different manner. You don't need to throw out your old lenses now. The old lenses can be yet a part of the kit, and it can be
adapted.
Absolutely.
So the L mount is not just about new lenses, it's also about being able to accept every lens that there is.
That you had in your kitty earlier, you don't need to just throw it out. Right. Yeah. And yes, with the introduction of the cameras that Panasonic has now derived, and we all are looking forward to using these cameras on ourselves. You have in Panasonic the anamorphic mode, which is 21:9 ratio, which is an inbuilt feature in the Panasonic. So you do not, you can use that as it's an inbuilt feature there. And even the rolling shutters that are there in the mirrorless cameras today gives you the same feel of a cinema camera today. So instead of using a nice big camera for your cinema, you're using a small, compact, handheld, much, much lighter weight camera, which you can reproduce the same quality as you would require to for a film. So for a cinema film,
just a small technical question.
Right.
The anamorphic cinema mode is available on the S1H?
S1H.
The S1?
Yes, S1H.
I see. Okay. That's interesting. So you can use all the cine lenses, the large cine lenses as well, the anamorphic lenses.
I'm sure you can with the adapter.
Oh yes, lens adaptability, there is no challenge. Everything is ready now.
And also what I see is in the future today, we're going to have, the best thing that's going to come up probably is RAW. RAW videos is probably the next best thing that's going to come into these cameras, where you'd be able to shoot and edit RAW video files.
We were just speaking about that.
Yeah. I think those are going to come by just firmware upgrades. So you don't even touch the hardware. It's like today a firmware upgrade is like a new model being introduced.
Absolutely.
It creates the same amount of vibe, same amount of anxiety, and our the lenses have already got firmware categorized. That's an evolution in the lenses, and the last 5 years, I think I can see a distinctive reaction to photographers awaiting firmware upgrades. It was not like that earlier.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Earlier, they were just like, "Oh, is there such a thing?" They were never connected to the fact that to the science or to the element of firmware upgrades. Today, they are very much involved in it.
And with Sigma, the lenses have firmware upgrades too.
Yes, they already have. All our lenses are firmware upgradable because so that we don't have to make new lenses for
By the user.
by the user. Yes, and the user can upgrade it himself. He doesn't need to go to anywhere to do it.
So that also actually, in a way, gets the fear out of a cinematographer or photographer who buys the camera, and does not have to look at in the next 6 months, 8 months to buy another model and replace it because there are firmwares available. The companies are enhancing the features. The firmwares are available in later dates for them to physically download the same on the cameras and use the new features that are there in the firmwares for them. So that helps a lot of people a lot of photographers and cinematographers who have this fear that, wow, if I buy a camera today, in the next 6 months, 8 months, we're going to have the technology completely shifted again.
Right. So basically, just to recap on the L mount aspect, it's not just simply a mount change.
No.
It is a lot more behind that story. I mean, there is the compatibility with much older lenses. It's also about using anamorphic lenses onto
It's a bit
cameras.
future-proof.
Future-proof. It's about being
Future-proof, future-ready.
Absolutely. Ms. Suri, Panasonic is also offering certain prizes for our winners. Could you let us know a little bit about some of them?
So GH5 is with a 1260 mm is being offered to the winner, and thereafter that the runner-up gets G85 with a.
Just let me correct that for a second. So there are 4 prizes that Panasonic is offering. 2 of them are the GH5s, and 2 of them are the G85s.
Absolutely, with a 1440 mm.
So that's for 4 of the 6 categories. The winners.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that's what's being offered, and I think they're going to experience a whole new. The cameras are fantastic, right? Although there's some models that I personally haven't used, all right, to be honest, but I know the technology we're there. Panasonic is there, and Panasonic is probably leading the technology. And every time, I go back to the office and I sit with the team there, and I hear something is just about to come now. It's 4K, 6K, 8K, and God knows where further.
Is that scary for you as a filmmaker?
I think it's not scary. I think I'm embracing it. And anyone who embraces the technology today is future ready. The moment you stay away from technology, you say, things are going to change. You need to change. We need to change. We need to embrace the technology, because if you do not embrace the technology, you will be left behind. And there's no two ways about it.
As a last question that we are going to ask, I would like to ask Mr. Saraf, what would be your advice? Mr. Suri has given his advice that you have to embrace change, you have to embrace technology, and technology essentially enables you. What would be your advice to filmmakers today?
Well, I would just say we need to continuously train ourselves with the current technologies so that we are well versed with the current technologies, looking at our future, what changes are coming in, and continuously educating ourselves is one of the most important part. And with educating, we need to equip ourselves as well with the right gears so that we can come up with the right videos and photos that are required.
Mr. Goel, do you have something to add to that?
Technology is evolving, right? And at the pace at which it is evolving is you could say it is frightening, or you can say it is great, right? And as a service provider, you have to evolve with technology, because if you want to stay in the market, if you want to create that kind of content, or if you want your clients to get everything, with the state-of-the-art technology that is available, everyone has to, run with the technology. So as technology is evolving, users, service providers, they need to evolve as well. And that's what I keep telling my father.
Mr. Seshan, one final question for you, especially regarding, because since this is a forum for filmmaking and for cinema, Sigma has recently, well, not very recently, for the last 2 years, has gone into cine lenses in a very big way. And what I heard from you last was that Shah Rukh Khan has bought an entire set of the full-frame prime lenses of...
That's right.
Could you let us know a little bit about that? And you also mentioned that there was a video that you would like to show the audience regarding the full-frame lenses. Yes.
Yes.
So,
see, Sigma created a new vertical, you can say, of getting into the cinematographic lens direction. This was a very surprise to me as a distributor, but we were very excited, being one of the top 3 countries in the world in cinema. In 4 years, I can say that the last 4 years, Sigma has created its objective of being accepted as a premium lens solution, 8K ready. We have sold over 400 lenses in India. They are being used in mainstream cinema. They are not in anywhere less than that. They have become a very strong opportunity for profitability for channel markets without compromising on quality. And talking about, we were very excited when Mr. Shah Rukh Khan had
and he purchased the entire set,
entire set. It's bought as a set of 7 primes from 14 to 135. I believe it was for his family. So that was definitely one, but not just Mr. Shah Rukh Khan, because serious filmmaking production houses are using our lenses.
Which includes wedding filmmaking houses as well?
Yes, definitely, especially the 1835 and the 5100. See, the lens solution is so wide, definitely wedding is not missed out at that at all. And when you said about mainstream cinema and this, next year's Tom Cruise Top Gun is taken completely on Sigma films. So I think it's reached its objective of being considered as to be accepted as a solution for cinema, and they're even bringing out new cinema lenses now. So that's where cinema is going with Sigma.
Wonderful. To conclude,
I would like to actually add out here that Panasonic's S1H, and I mentioned that earlier, I just want to reiterate myself there. Netflix has finally, I think Panasonic's hit it right there for all us filmmakers. We can now use the S1H to create films, wedding films, or any other genre of films that can be actually used as content for Netflix. Now that is a big step ahead. It's one of the lightest cameras in the segment, as well as one of the cheapest ones that we can use and create content that can be actually aired on Netflix, which is a big leap. So having said that, I think that gives a very, very different kind of an opportunity, a brilliant opportunity for us filmmakers that we can actually focus in different areas at a wedding also. We can look at creating a fantastic wedding film and which can be actually used as a reality show probably, just an idea, and a reality wedding show that can actually be shot on the S1 and use it as content for Netflix.
Thank you. So just to conclude our entire panel discussion about technologies and filmmaking, I think technologies today are so beautifully enhanced to accept a young filmmaker, to accept a beginner, to accept, in fact, to move from all the way from the topmost professional level filmmaking, to the very beginning levels of filmmaking, can explore the very idea of filmmaking with some of the equipment that we're talking about here today. And it is a beautiful, beautiful landscape of technology that we have, which actually is enabling. It is not restricting, but enabling. In fact, Ms. Suri, just as a last final point, you had mentioned how India is unique as a country for technology. We're talking about it outside. Could you just share your idea with the audience?
You got to remind me of what you were talking about.
We were talking about how technology actually does not remain with, so there are many levels, especially financial levels, and how technology moves between from one level to the next, so it becomes very easy.
Well, we've all seen the auto industry. I'm sure we're all very familiar with the auto industry when we, buy a brand new car and we use it for a couple of years and then we want to sell it out and buy a new one. That car actually from a city would go to a smaller town. And thereafter that, it would move down to a small village. And it would probably go on for the next 20 years or 25 years till that car cannot be run anymore. That's exactly how I see cameras today since the last maybe 20 years. A camera today, if it is, it does not, the usage of a camera does not stop till the final last click. Today you buy it, you use it, you sell it, it moves on. That gives you an opportunity at any point of time to actually move your equipment out and buy a new one. The fear of holding on to an equipment and not being able to sell it is completely negated with this market that we have out here in India. We have all segments of market, and the cameras will always move like the auto industry from one segment, from one market to another, to another, to another, till it actually is redundant, it does not work, or there's some issue with it.
Thank you. And on that very happy note that, we are unique, we are going to end the session. There is a video by Sigma which I would like you to see. This was specially requested by Mr. Seshan. It's on Sigma Cine lenses. But, earlier we were planning to have the video in a smaller format because we are sitting here. But as soon as we move out, I would like the video to be played on the full screen. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Can we have someone please clear the tables and the chairs? And then once that happens, can we play the video once the chairs and tables have been moved out?
I'm really impressed with how sharp they are actually wide open at a T2. The zoom lenses are T2, and they're pretty small. They're like the 50 to 100s. It's like this size, 1835 is this size, and they're light. And I think professionally in cinema, I don't think there's any zoom lenses that are that lightweight and that small at a T2. And it's nice because most prime lenses are T2. There's not many zooms that are T2. So it's kind of like a prime for how fast it is. And so having the bokeh is very nice fall off for being wide open at a 2 and still maintaining sharpness wide open, which is great, really nice.
These lenses are very unique because they actually are very, very sharp. They can resolve 4K and higher, which is kind of future-proof because that seems to be where we're going, is higher and higher resolution. And they are very fast as well. They're a zoom that's a T2, so having the versatility of a zoom is great because you only need a lens or maybe a second lens and you have a whole range of lenses. So at smaller productions where you don't have as much money or time, that's a huge saver in many ways. It saves time, saves money, and they perform just as well as many primes that are out there.
I shot entire of this short film around 2.0 and 4.0, and overall bokeh looks really great. And also skin tone looks really smooth, and I would say this is a really cinema lens. So we tried a variety of shots using a dolly and using a slider, and also we did an overhead shot and also handheld. So having a small light zoom lens like this gave me freedom to move around, such as this trailer house, and I could move around and get a really nice shot. It was really great experience to me. And usually having a cinema lenses, we can't really move around, and doing a handheld shot is almost impossible. But this Sigma lens can make it possible. That was great. Those lenses build quality is really superb and robust. It's built like a tank, and it's not cheap. And you can take it to any location and any environment. So we shot in desert, and it was just working smooth and well. That was great.
Thank you. The next presentation is by a very special guest, from all the way from Chennai. They are called Mere Shadows. And the presentation is by Akshay Rao, who's heading Mere Shadows. They are a team of filmmakers, writers, musicians, driven by the spirit of documenting the harmony and diversity present in weddings, by being responsive to the characters, stories, and emotions that spontaneously unfold during the celebrations. This is how they describe themselves. When I saw a couple of their films, I thought that they had a very unique style of storytelling in weddings, and Akshay is coming up just to talk about it. Akshay, over to you.
Sorry, Madhavan, we are based in Bangalore. Yeah. So, good evening, everyone. It's really a great pleasure to be here. It's an honor. It's like I would like to thank Panasonic Better Photography for this and all the associate partners for this such an event and an opportunity to showcase our work and talk about it. And I'd like to thank my entire team. They're all there. Maybe a couple of them are missing, but it's great. Before I proceed, words are really difficult for me. I've never been a word person, so it's always been the other way around. It's like I just work, and this is my first time. So please pardon me. I think we'll just watch one of our wedding films, and I think we'll just take after that. I'll try my best to talk something about it. And it's going to it'll be great if we can have a more interactive session because I'm really not a presenter. And let's see how it goes. Can we please have the film? It'll be really great. Just watch on the big screen. I've never watched it. I think it's cropped. Excuse me. I think the video is cropped. Sorry. Satish, can you go and... It's cropped. I'm really sorry for this. 1 second.
A bit of a small technical glitch. We'll be back with you with this film. The reason why we invited Mere Shadows to actually present was because of their unique filmmaking style. And that's the reason why I specifically invited Akshay to actually make a presentation here. So just bear with us for a couple of minutes. Once we get that rectified, we'll show the film again. Really sorry, guys. Let's see. It's I think it's working there now.
See, don't get moisturizer, small one.
Seriously, ಒಂದ್ಸಲಿ ಕೈ ಕಾಲು ಹಚ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಖಾಲಿ ಆಗೋಗುತ್ತಿದ್ವು. ಲಿಪ್ಸ್ ಔಟ್ ಡೌನ್.
ಓಕೆ ನೀನು ಸ್ಮಾರ್ಟ್ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು ತಾನೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನೀನು ಐಲ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ಲಿ ಬಾಬಾ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್
ಇಲ್ಲ ಎಮ್ ಟಿ ರೋಡ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಬ್ರಾಹ್ಮಣ್ ಎಮ್ ಟಿ ಆರ್ ಹಂಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ಲಾಲ್ಬಾಗ್ ಕಡೆ ಕರೆ
ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ತಿಂದಾಗಲಿ number of stairs. The number of busy hours in a day.
Zero ಅಂತಿದ್ಯಲ್ಲೋ ನಿಂಗೆ busy?
Busy, I'm very relaxed.
Otlam you mean?
Otlam, correct, exactly. ಇಲ್ಲ
ಶಾಮಿಯಾನ ಹಾಕ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಕಲ್ಲು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಆ ಕಡೆ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಇಟ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರಾ ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇದು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಶಾಮಿಯಾನ?
ಆ ಕಡೆ ಈ ಕಡೆ ರೋಡ್ ಇದೆ
ಕೆಂಡಾಲ್ ಇಷ್ಟು ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅವರು ಕಾರ್ ತನಕ ಬಂದ ಟೂ ವೀಲರ್ ಹೋಗೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅವಾಗ?
ಇಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಫುಟ್ಪಾತಿಂದ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬೇಕಿತ್ತು.
ಕಾಫಿ
ಸಾಕು 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 ಕೆಂಪಮ್ಮ ಕಾಫಿ
ಹಲೋ ಒನ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಈ ಬದಿಗೆ ನೋಡಿ ಸ್ಮೈಲ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಆಯಿ ಮೊಕ್ಕ ಮುಂದೆ
ಆಯಿ ಸಣ್ಣದಿದ್ರು ನೋಡುವ ಸಣ್ಣ ಕಾಯ್ಬೇಕಡ ಸಣ್ಣ
ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಹರ್ಷ ಕರ್ಟನ್ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್
ಈ ಗಾಡಿನಾ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು
ನೋಡಿ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ ಕಾರ್ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ಟೂ ವೀಲರ್ ತೆಗಿಬೇಕಂತೆ
सह कुटुम्बिने महाजनान्मस्कुर्वाणाय आशीर्वचनमपेक्षमाणे करिष्यमाण मम कुमारकस्य वृद्धिं भवन्तो भवन्तो वृद्धिं भवन्तो भवन्तो वृद्धिं भवन्तो
ಮುತ್ಕಂಡೆ ಮುತ್ಕಂಡೆ ಅವಳಕಂಡೆ ಅವಳಕಂಡೆ ಮುತ್ತಂತ ನಾನು ಗೊತ್ತು ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಗಟ್ಟಿದೆಯೋ ಇಲ್ವೋ ಮುತ್ತಿನಂತ ಮುತ್ತಿನಂತ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀಯ ಯಾರು ಕಂಡೆ ಕಾಣೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆಯಾ ಇವಾಗ ಯಾರನ್ನ ಕಾಣೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆಯಾ ಹುಡುಗ ಇವಾಗ ಸತ್ಯ ಹುಡುಗನೇ ಮುತ್ತಿನಂತ ಹುಡುಗನ ಕಾಣ್ತೀನಿ
ಏನು ನೋಡಿಲ್ಲ ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಕಷ್ಟ ಕುಡಿಯಾಗೋಗಿದೆ ನೀನೇನು ಏನಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ ಏನೇ ಅನ್ಯಾಯ.
ವಿಮಲಾ ಮತ್ತು ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀನಾರಾಯಣ ಅವರಂತ ಪುತ್ರಿ
ಅವರನ್ನು ನಿನಗೆ ವಿವಾಹ ಮಾಡಬೇಕೆಂದು ನಾಡಿದ್ದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಗುರು ಹಿರಿಯ ಆಶೀರ್ವಾದದಿಂದ ನಿಶ್ಚಯಿಸಿದ್ದೇವೆ.
I can remove. ಇದೊಂದೇ ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಇರೋದು ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಬಾರ್ಡರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ದೊಡ್ಡವರಿಗೆ ಸರಿ ಇದೆ. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೊತ್ತು ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಅವಾಗ ತಿರ್ಗಾ ಮೈಂಡ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗೋಕೆ ಶುರು ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇದು ಲಾಂಗೆಸ್ಟ್ ಶಾಪಿಂಗ್ ಎವರ್ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ನಂದು ಲೈಫ್ ಟೈಮ್. ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಹಂಗೆ ಯಾವತ್ತು ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಟೈಮ್ ಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ.
ಅಂಕಲ್ ನೀವು ನಾಟ್ ಹಾಕ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀರಾ? ನನಗೆ ಬರಲ್ಲ ಸರಿ, ಅರ್ಧಂಬರ್ಧ ಹಾಕ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ.
ಸಮಾಚಾರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪುರೋಹಿತರು ಬರಲಿಲ್ಲ, 7:30 ಅಂದರು.
ನೀನು ಚಪ್ಪಲ್ ಹಾಕಿದ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲೂ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ. ತೊಂಜೆ ಅಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲೋ ಸೇರಿದ್ದೆ. ಆ ಬ್ಯಾಗ್ ಒಳಗಿದ್ದದ್ದು ಯಾರೋ ಬರ್ ಮಾಡಿಕ್ಕಿದ, ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಬಿಟ್ಟೆ.
ಎಲ್ಲಿ
ಕೂಡ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು
ಓಕೆ, ಕೂಲಾಗಿರೋ ಯಾರ ಬ್ಯಾಗಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು?
ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಬ್ಯಾಗಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೆ. ಆ ಬ್ಯಾಗ್ ಇದ್ದು ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲೋ ಇದ್ದ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಬರ್ತೆ. ಒಂದು ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಇದ್ರದ್ದು ಕಾಶಿಗೊಪ್ಪು ಚಪ್ಪಲಿ, ಒಂದು ಇದ್ರೊಳಗೆ ಇರೋ ಮಲಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಇದ್ದೀರ ಇಲ್ಲೇ. ಅದಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲ ಬರುತ್ತೆ.
ಹಾಕ್ಬೇಕು.
ನನಗೂ ನಾನು ಕನ್ನಡಕನೇ ಹಾಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೆ ನಾನು ಅದು ದೋಸೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತೇನೆ ವಿಸಿಬಲ್
That's it. Sorry, yes. Thank you so much. Actually, I would like to thank Rashmi and Kiran lot for this, actually. Thank you, sir.
For next, you can press that button.
For next. Okay, thank you. So it's like without them, I don't think it would have been possible for us to experiment. It's like, and also, yeah, this was filmed by my friend Satish Amrut. He's there. I shot along with him, and it was edited by Raghu and myself. And it was the music is composed by my friend John Joel. He's not here. So it's like, yeah, this is our mere attempt into capturing and trying to present the essence of the couple and the wedding, what we could get the best out of. So it's like I said, it's like, it's quite difficult for me to talk about it. But yeah, I'll try my best. It's like, I tried to articulate this, like when Nilofer told me to come up with the topic, deriving the craft every moment. It's like, I think this is what we do as mere shadows in our company. So it's like the craft is born every time, like every moment. It is not in any format. It is not confined in, a particular meaning and trying to replicate it all the time somewhere. But it's like more responsive towards like understanding about it, like the couple or the wedding, or it's like it's just it's the characters, and we are like just the shadows of it. Like that's exactly what we feel. So like before I proceed, like maybe I'll try to tell a short story of how a short bit of my story, like what happened, how we all together arrived here. So it's like it just happens. I stumbled upon photography, and honestly, it's the best thing happened in my life, apart from my wife there. But it's like, and yeah, it's like wedding photography happened later, followed by wedding films, and but then everything happened and landed into conflict. Like I was not that satisfied with what I was doing at a point, and I was feeling, I definitely enjoyed a lot. I was enjoying big time. I was like totally into it, but there was something which was like, holding me back. Something was not working, and I couldn't understand what is that. But it took a lot of time. Like, I had to like slowly understand, like, why is it, why this conflict is coming? Because it's like there was no complaints from the clients, but then it was there's something. So it's like, that's where exactly it started. It's like something. Like maybe I then felt I've not asked the question, like, why is it am I doing this? Like, why is it like actually I'm documenting a wedding? What is the necessity of it? Like, so that was the question which stuck big time, and it's like sorry. So it's then slowly I started understanding. It's like, it was maybe a dependency on the concepts, that there's one particular concept in my head which I'm trying to fit it, fit the couple or fit something into that. and it was not capturing the essence of it. And it's like, that was quite repetitive. And it was quite spread everywhere, like, thousands of things, like, it can be anything, using equipment in such a way, or coming up with such a kind of a presentation, or editing in such a way, or whatever it is, like, and, or like, just assuming things like what audience likes, or whether this will work, like many things. And that's exactly where I could notice that, I'm missing out the essence, because sometimes, somewhere down the line, late in the night when I sit, it was like, I was able to see there was essence, which is, which was captured, and it was preserved, but it was very inconsistent. It was not holistically coming together, creating that wholeness. But it's like, that's exactly that, there was a lot of inner conflict. Like, it's, so I think that's exactly where it began. And I want to thank my friend, I like to remember Satish Amrut here, because he was there at that moment, who was, when all this started, to understand what was actually happening here, to come up with our own way of expressing what we feel about it. And that's where, it's like, so it went to a level where I surrendered completely, that I don't know anything. I don't know any concepts, nothing. It's just, I just don't know. And this is the only thing what I know. Like that, even now, I really don't know. I have like a couple of weddings to shoot once I go back to Bangalore. I don't know seriously what kind of film we are coming up with. That doesn't mean like, it's not like we'll not ideate things and do the stuff, but it is like, but there is all the possibility for something to shatter. Even the ideas, it's there, but maybe tomorrow once we go back, things will drastically change, because that's exactly what we both will face when we shoot. It's like we'll ideate something, we'll have an idea of, and then we go there and everything changes. And it's not the same. So it's like, this is just our beginning. There's nothing actually, like we're just trying so that like, somewhere we can better ourselves day by day. And so yeah, it's like once, when I came into that situation of like, I don't know, like completely, that's exactly where I was able to question, like, why, like, exactly this question. Because like, I was more drawn towards film. Like from photography, I'm like, drawn into films because, I don't know, film language expression was like little more, dynamic actually. And more expressive, like, to capture all the essence and present in a nutshell of a film. Like it's, so like why should we document a wedding and narrate it in a film language? Like, it has its own, information, values which can be preserved and can be like, passed on to the future generation. So like a film must be like some, able to interact with the future generation. That was like, something which, it's like, that's exactly where it ended the conclusions and arriving to the objectivity of it. Like why does a wedding film must exist? What is it's going to matter? Like, as like, and in that time, in that conflict and all, I think this is one quote which really made my day. The subject gives you the best idea of how to make a photograph. So I just wait for something to happen. What a wonderful quote. I think, it was by Mary Ellen Mark long back, decades ago. And it's like, that's exactly what was driving us as well. Like, the characters. The characters is what is building everything. Like, the story. It's like LHS equal to RHS. Like story is from the characters, and there is no character without. I mean, it's like they both are like complementing each other. It's it's like so the essence is there, and so it went like this is the best way where I could come up with a diagram which can represent the whole. Where so when when Mary Ellen Mark says that, so she just waits for something to happen, which is like, it is being spontaneous. It's like, just taking the leap of faith that, yes, we don't know until that moment. And that's like, and the leap of faith, like when we have that leap of faith, I think it's like, there's a room for spontaneity. There is always a room for spontaneity. And the more, it's like, it goes like both together. When there is a room for spontaneity, it's like, again, like there might be definitely all the chances for innovation. We don't know. But yeah, that's all. Like, that's all I could, like, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Akshay. Does anyone have any specific questions to ask regarding this? I thought you might,
I'm extremely sorry. I'm like really nervous. Please pardon me, but I would love to answer your questions. Yes, sir.
Akshay, yeah,
Yes, sir.
I'm not going to make you any nervous. Don't forget. But this is the closest documentary style of wedding that I must have ever come across in my lifetime.
Thank you, sir.
And the icing on the cake was certainly that when the waist is being measured and that guy says 38 plus and that girl keeps laughing on that. That was really a nice thought, whoever shot that.
Yes.
And the fact that you incorporated that in the video
Exactly.
makes really, really interesting.
Thank you so much,
Okay,
sir.
now the question is, it's very important about the duration of the video is very crucial to this, the wedding clips, if I am not wrong. So now, as I see this documentary, it went on and on. So do you decide the duration for the video, or it's the client's decision that you
no,
want
sir.
a particular size or maybe? So what's the take on this?
So that's a very great question. Thank you so much for asking that question. So actually, the spontaneity, what I was trying to explain about or mention about, is like the spontaneity is like everywhere. So it's like we don't know where the film is going to go. Like, it's like, what I can say is like I'm not the filmmaker, and the filmmaker is born every time. So what happens in the editing table, it's like there's no constraint of this is where the film is going to end, or, this is the duration or one comes up with. And for the clients as well, that's exactly where we try to pitch in before itself that we don't know the duration, but definitely it's going to be more. Like, for example, this particular film is 37 minutes, the original film. There is a lot more content, in fact, but we have tried to put it in a nutshell. Actually, Raghu made this particular cut. He played a major role in this. So it's like, I usually generally try to get everything as a full-length film. And and then we, because it was like we wanted to put it for better photography, and there was the duration of 12 minutes. So we cut it into 12 minutes. And actually it plays out very slowly in the original film. Because it's like, maybe I feel, we also have a trailer, sir, for this, like a 4-minute trailer. So, sorry if I've answered your question.
Yeah, you have in a way.
So what happens is like, it might go, maybe actually I'm filming our musician, another musician is there, our friend Suchet. So we are filming his wedding. I don't know, it might even go to 1 hour. I have no clue actually about that. But it's like we try to get the essence of it in every possible way, and let's see what's going to come up.
Okay, so in a nutshell, what you're trying to tell me is you decide the time and not the client, correct?
Yeah, it's like not even I don't decide the time. The content decides the time. Like, it's like the subject, the content, the kind of characters, how it is narrating. It's like the narration is guided by the content itself. Like, so, I mean, that's how I can put it across. It's like, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Akshay, just to make a mention, that's Fauzan Hussain, who has done some of the finest documentary work in documentary photography in weddings that I have seen myself.
Thank you so much, sir.
So when he's saying that, that the video that he just saw was the finest video that he has seen, it's a huge compliment.
So I really can't thank, I don't know, it means a lot to us. It's like, it means a lot. Thank you so much.
Any other question that the audience may have? Thank you, Akshay.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you
can
so
catch
much.
up anytime and talk about it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now we have a short break. You can grab some coffee and some tea and a few snacks. We will be back here in exactly 20 minutes, and we will start with the awards night. Thank you.